Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Dong Report, where I give out my favorite MLB home run picks of the day. As for today, I got three for you guys that I really like. But before we can get into today, we have to do a recap from yesterday, which unfortunately was not one of our better days. I only had two on yesterday's slate because I did not love the picks in the slate from yesterday. We did not get any of those two to cash. End the day down 2 units, bringing our total profit on the Dong Report season to date to 71.05 units, 12.48% ROI. Those numbers are still incredible, but we never love to have an O for day. As I mentioned, we got three for today. If you have not already, if you're new, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Other than that, remember to like and comment. All that good stuff helps me out a ton. And let's chat dongs. So the first play on today's slate is going to be in the Braves versus Nationals game. We're going to go with Marcel Ozuna to hit a home run plus 330 odds at FanDuel. So we did go with Marcel Ozuna yesterday, obviously to no luck because we didn't get anything to cash yesterday, but we are trusting him once again today. I will say a lot of the notes that I said yesterday still apply for today, but obviously we're still going to go through it for those of you who missed it or just need a refresher. So looking at Ozuna, pretty much like every other Brave, crushing the ball this year. Just an absurd team in terms of power. Overall, he's got 35 home runs on the year, and his advanced stats on the year look really good as well. The two stats that I like to look at are ISO rate and barrel rate. ISO rate measures isolated power. Barrel rate measures how well you hit the barrel of the bat. You combine the two, you get a lot of home runs. ISO rate, looking at Ozuna, his ISO rate is 26.3%. Now for ISO rate, anything 20 to 25% is great. Anything at 25% and above is excellent. So his being at 26.3%, that's excellent. For barrel rate, anything between 10 and 15% is great. Anything 15% and above is excellent. So he's excellent in both ISO rate and barrel rate, which I love finding batters that qualify for that. I like targeting him in this game today because of the pitcher matchup that he's going up against. Patrick Corbin is pitching for the Nationals. Not only does he stink, but he just eats up innings as well, which is great for us. Looking at Ballpark Pal is my source for this, lists this as an extreme advantage in favor of Ozuna, which makes sense because A, Corbin stinks, Ozuna's good, and Ozuna's a little bit better against lefties. And then lastly, Ozuna has been raking recently as well. It's not just his season-long stats. He's only got 2 in his last 10 games, which don't look great, but in the past month, his ISO rate is 33.9%. The weather for this one is just okay. It's not great. It's another day, just like yesterday, where the weather isn't super juicy overall. 4 home runs to be hit, but I do like Ozuna to mash one for us, cashing our first play of the evening. Next up in the Orioles versus Guardians game, we are going with Gunnar Henderson to hit a home run plus 470 odds at FanDuel. So looking at this game, it's not incredible from a weather perspective by any means, but it is one of the few games that is at least positive, has a positive home run correlation based on the ballpark and the weather. So obviously that's good. We did go with Gunnar a couple days ago. He did not come through for us, but similar to Ozuna, to live is to forgive. So we forgave Ozuna for yesterday. We're also forgiving Gunnar Henderson for not cashing for us a couple days ago. The reason why I like this one, Shane Bieber pitching for the Guardians, not quite as good as he once was during his Cy Young years, not nearly the same pitcher. And this is another example where the batter has the extreme advantage. Bieber is a right-handed pitcher, and Gunnar Henderson is significantly better against right-handed pitching than he is left-handed pitching. So the stats I use for this is ISO rate. Unfortunately, you can't look at splits specifically for barrel rate. It doesn't allow you to do that. So in terms of our raw power numbers, we can only really look at ISO rate. But his ISO rate against left-handed pitching is 12.1%. That is very low. If you isolate that against right-handed pitching, it's all the way up to 28%. So it's literally the difference in power from excellent to below average. So pretty big deal there. Gunnar Henderson has also been playing well recently. He's also got 2 home runs in his last 10 games, but looking at the larger sample size, his ISO rate against right-handed pitching in the past month is 27.8%. And if you look at his ISO rate in the past 2 weeks, specifically against right-handed pitching, it's up to 38%. So similar to Ozuna, They are going to right their wrongs. Gunnar Henderson will come through, cashing our second play of the evening. And next up, our third and final pick for the day, we are going to go in the Cardinals versus Padres game and take Juan Soto to hit a home run plus 520 odds at FanDuel. So Juan Soto has quietly been raking recently. And the reason why I say quietly is because the Padres have kind of had the season from hell and they've kind of have been irrelevant since they've been out of the playoff race. But Soto specifically is still playing well. Overall, he's got 4 home runs in his last 10 games, and his advanced stats back up a hot batter as well. In the past month, his ISO rate is 28.1%, and in the past 2 weeks, that number jumps up to 34.9%, which would be the 7th highest in the MLB in that span. Now, I don't talk about a ton of other advanced metrics, but if we were to look into some like WRC plus, his is at plus 219, which would be second best in the MLB in that span, which just goes to show you that he's been crushing the ball. This game is at Padres Stadium, is another game similar to the Orioles one, which is slightly positive. 4 home runs to be hit, not super juicy, but not negative by any means. And lastly, Juan Soto should absolutely crush the Cardinals pitcher, Dakota Hudson. This is another example, again, according to Ballpark Pal, where the batter has the extreme advantage over the pitcher. It's also similar to Gunnar Henderson, where Juan Soto is a lot better against right-handed pitching than he is against left-handed pitching. Now, it's not as dramatic, but it's still pretty dramatic. Against left-handed pitching, Juan Soto's ISO rate is 16.4%. Against right-handed pitching, up to 26.8%. So confident that Juan Soto will mash our third and final pick of the evening. In terms of honorable mentions, I just have one. Corey Seager was an honorable mention. If you're new, again, honorable mentions are players that I liked, didn't quite go with, so they don't get tracked whether they hit or whether they don't. I have gotten a couple to hit, so the success is there, but we're just looking for the main 3 to mash one. I put 1 unit on all 3 of them individually. I put $5 on a parlay of all 3. If only 1 hits, we are at least profitable. If all 3 hit, we will be rich. So let's hope for that. And that's all I got. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.